Hi guys, so I got this in the mail. So I've been in much need of a new art project to do. You know, I've got my usual paintings and illustrations on the go and my plein air sketchbooks, but I crave something larger in a project, and I would just so happen to browse around YouTube the other day and I saw a very old video that I saw about 10 years ago that just reminded me of something that I've always wanted to do, and that would be this video right here. If you haven't seen it, it's a flip through of a sketchbook from an art con aeons ago by an artist called Santi Perez. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But basically he has this absolutely beautiful sketchbook that's completely dedicated to horror. And I think the idea of themed sketchbooks is just something that's really escaped me over the years, especially when you're trying to improve your skills and you want to study everything, you know, you want to learn everything, the fundamentals, but also trying to see what you're really interested in and developing your own style. But this one really got me thinking, you know, why not have a project book? So this is why I got my hands on this one from Amazon, and I'm hoping to fill it. 80 sheets, it's by Sakura. I was going to buy a moleskin, but I wanted something a little bit more budget friendly. But I know if my Lurktrum notebook, which I'll go grab, so if this Lurktrum can take out gouache, which I have done in this, I've done a whole batch of things in here that I'll have to show you guys at some point, but this is one of my most recent paintings that I did of a study off Pinterest. And if this can take gouache, then I have no doubt in my mind that I'll be absolutely fine with this one, considering this Lurktrum is basically just notebook paper. So that is my plan. And you're probably thinking, like, well, what's the theme? Well, coming from the foreshadowing of that sketchbook that I showed you from Santi Perez, it's gotta be horror. I absolutely love horror. It's a big part of my life. It always has been since I was young. And even though my room looks very sort of girly and all that jazz, it's a huge part of my life, and my favourite thing is to discuss the paranormal and anything weird or dark or creepy with others. And if anyone knows me who's watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For example, this is a painting that I've recently completed, of course inspired by my love of ghosts. And this is also a painting that I did as well because I absolutely love jackalopes, they're my favourite cryptid. So I'm basically just going to make this like a bit of a long-term project. I don't think I've ever done a themed sketchbook in my adult life. I mean, when I was studying art in school, it was something we had to do as part of our exams, and which I did take for my GCSE. If you live in the UK, you know. That was probably one of my favourite things to do, was just going through, you know, doing the full projects, doing the artist researches, and it all had to be based around a themed word. But at least for this, I can pick what I want, and obviously I've got all the skills and tools that I've since learned as an adult. So I'm super excited to be starting this project, and I'm hoping to take you through with me in a kind of episodic pattern. So I'm going to see what I can do, and if you guys have any ideas or suggestions of things that I can paint or draw or study, or things that you find really impactful in the sort of theme of horror, then please let me know, because I need ideas. 80 pages is a lot of pages. Don't know whether it'll be double-sided or not, but we'll see down the line and see how much this book can actually take. But I'm sort of thinking things like sketches, paintings, studies of anything along that realm. So movies, folklore, books, games, even personal stories as well. I think that'd be fascinating. And maybe even looking into things like, you know, like cryptids and that sort of thing, and doing like an episodic thing on it where I talk more of the topic whilst I show you what I've done in the book and show you like a speed painting. So that is basically my plan. Putting myself out there for this. So hi. I will show you how I get on, but in the meantime, I really hope you enjoy this first episode of the inaugural page of my new book. See you guys on the other side, and thank you for watching. Okay, so what we're using today is a Pentel 0.9mm mechanical pencil, as well as a Faber-Castell kneadable eraser. So what I'm going to start with is just the sketch. I'm going to just try and get the basic shapes in before I start going ham on the facial details. Also, please forgive me for the really weird light at the beginning. It was a really sunny day when I filmed this, but it does fix itself later. So the reference picture that I'm using for this zombie image is from Pixabay, which I really like because it's just a nice place to get royalty-free images, and it just takes a sort of different avenue than Pinterest, because I feel like Pinterest can be very saturated at times. And shout out to John Davis 9528 for providing me this really excellent photograph. In this zombie I picked in particular, I just really liked him because I feel like he has a bit of a story. As you can see, that he has some barnacles attached to his face, which clearly means that, you know, he's not a regular zombie that kind of just rose from the ground. He's definitely some sort of deep sea zombie, which, to be honest, the deep sea is a whole other level of terrifying to me as it is. Is anybody else just as creeped out as the deep sea as I am and just of like deep water? Please let me know if you are. So I decided now that I really wanted to add a pop of colour, so I'm bringing out my watercolours that I've got stored in this cute little tin. There is a bit of gouache that I need to clean off the palette, but hey ho. So I just start dabbing in the colour with my synthetic brush, and I decided I just wanted to go with a bit of an undead sort of colour scheme as well to really make it pop. So I've picked up a yellowy green that looks a bit rotten. And I've also added like other sort of rusty colours, just to sort of, again, on par with the theme of old and decay. So after I added the paint, I weren't 100% happy with the values on the zombie sketch itself. I feel like the colour kind of washed this actual sketch away. So I went back in with my black wing just to deepen those values and just make it a little bit more three-dimensional. So I didn't want to just settle on one zombie sketch. I decided let's just add something else that would make a nice filler to the space. So this is why I actually did go on Pinterest to just find some generic poses. Like, I used pre-existing images of zombies, but I just wanted to capture the silhouette because there's something I really like about the tropes in horror movies where you don't see the monster immediately, you just kind of just see the silhouette in the background and you have enough information to know that they're not exactly human. Which I really think is quite genius. I mean, I really feel like they took advantage of this in the older sort of monster movies where they were more limited for effects. Also, really random side note, did anybody else fall for the fake zombie videos that were posted kind of in the early YouTube days between like 2008 to 2012? Because I really scared myself when I was a child when I watched these, and I was so convinced that they were real. Like, I genuinely thought, why hasn't the world ended yet? Because this video has been posted like 2-3 years ago and there's a zombie apocalypse, and I didn't hear anything on the news about it. Dangerous is a child on the internet with a wild imagination. The little skull-like details on these poses, they kind of remind me of those really creepy apocalyptic medieval paintings that you'd see kind of like depicting the plague and the end of the world. I'll insert a few here, but there's just something so unsettling about them. So here I'm just wrapping up and adding some cast shadows to give them more of a 3D effect, like they're actually standing on the ground rather than floating on my page. And that pretty much wraps up the video. I'll pop a little scan in here, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe if you do want to see any more content like this, because I will be uploading episode 2 in the near future. I'm still thinking on a theme yet, so watch this space. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day.